November 1st, 2023. First foreigners leave Gaza for Egypt through Rafah crossing. Portland neighborhood terrified by residents dressed up as normal middle-class family. Red light district erupts in New York with influx of Venezuelan migrant prostitutes. Red-handed. Comer unveils bank records showing Joe Biden received $40,000 of laundered Chinese money. A platform storing TikTok corporate secrets was inspected by the Chinese government. Foreign visitors to pay entrance fee at Hagia Sophia. Musk on Rogan. George Soros fundamentally hates humanity and wants to erode fabric of civilization. Marjorie Taylor Greene clearly thinks she is untouchable. My colleagues can prove her wrong. Hallway Slayer dead. Neighbor wanted for hallway execution of NYC dad and stepson fatally shot after lunging at cops with knife. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. discusses flying on Jeffrey Epstein's Lolita Express. It's that time of year. Here are the cutest NICU baby Halloween costumes from all over the nation. Heidi Klum transforms into a peacock for Halloween 2023. See her show-stopping look. Lose by less. Biden tries to stanch Democratic losses in rural America. Civilian casualties in Gaza don't matter. Top U.S. Senator. I am so sick of depressed but make it hot merch. Chinese scientists create faster, more energy-efficient AI chip. In a second Trump term, the rule of law will be the enemy. Incoherent derangement. Tearing down hostage posters is an act of deep moral sickness. Ron DeSantis swears he doesn't wear lifts. U.S. all but stopped spying on Hamas in years after 9/11. Biden received $40,000 from family after Chinese payments. Oversight. November 2nd, 2023. Trump fraud trial live updates. Eric Trump didn't know he was source for valuations. Palestinians face grave risk of genocide, UN experts warn. Powell touting tight financial conditions causes them to loosen. FBI raids home of Eric Adams fundraising chief Brianna Suggs. As mayor abandons migrant crisis meeting with Biden to return to NYC. Deep chill. Russia squeezes Biden administration with strategic nuclear chess move. Top U.S. diplomat due in Turkey for talks. Ankara. Learn why Elon Musk is trying to lead the Great Awakening and defeat the New World Order. Kathy Hochul's Israel trip bankrolled by group funding illegal settlements. How Israel is splitting the Democrats. Can't make it up. BLM activist extremely sorry at sentencing for spending donations on Uber and hair appointments. Bankrupt and loving it. Welcome to the lucrative world of undead brands. Bob Knight, famed Indiana basketball coach, dead at 83. Portland leaders approved massive government makeover while cementing their power during transition. Pentagon launches UFO reporting tool. China and U.S. set for first nuclear nonproliferation talks in years. Loose cannon is making a mess of the Mar-a-Lago case against Trump. With U.S. backing, Israel would be crippled within days. Leader. What the 2024 election is really about for Trump supporters. Biden shot his mouth off about the Israeli invasion of Gaza. And it's not good. Drugs were found on Hamas members. Here's the role they may have played in Israel attacks. A QAnon cult set up a compound in a small town. The locals are fighting back. Israel's crackdown on dissent will only hurt it. November 3, 2023. Fed hiking cycle looks done after U.S. jobs report shows cooling. Eric Trump returns to the stand at New York fraud trial. New York AG Wade hitting Trump with racketeering charges. Sam Bankman-Fried found guilty of fraud and conspiracy. DeSantis to MSNBC. Trump should not be GOP nominee if he's convicted. Jamie Raskin explains why he voted to keep George Santos in Congress. For now. You'll never guess who was working behind the scenes to craft Biden's woke executive order on AI. Just kidding, you already guessed it. Western nations changing tune on defeating Russia. Putin. Trump's purge begins. Chinese Navy tries to address pilot shortage by widening recruitment drive. A very, very bad day in court for the Trumps. King of the Hill Johnny Hardwick cause of death undetermined. Body too decomposed. More babies are dying in the U.S. Details on the troubling trend. Obama privately took the lead on key White House approach. November 4, 2023. Judge rules anonymous jury in E. Jean Carroll case against Trump. Israel strikes Gaza UN school after ambulance attack, 15 dead. Palestine protesters tries to argue with skinhead, but they just agree on everything. Mayor kills self-right after right-wing blogs out cross-dressing. Would like to connect. Joe Biden's office allegedly helped coordinate Hunter Biden's China trips during vice presidency, emails show. Erdogan says Netanyahu no longer someone we can talk to. NBC News admits Obama secretly advising Biden White House. The first ruling on Trump's ballot eligibility won't be the last. Tremendous concern. Kamala Harris's stepdaughter Ella Emhoff is promoting an $8 million Gaza fundraising campaign. Blinken works toward containing the Israel-Hamas war while in Jordan. Joe Biden's Israel headache is getting worse and worse. Why is there fluorescent green liquid leaking up from manholes in Manhattan? Biden campaign predicts tight general election. Apple likely to choose India over China for making its next iPhone. Right-wing fake history is nothing new. Narrative war. China's TikTok users are being told that Aristotle did not exist. Democrats rage at Speaker Johnson over pairing Israel aid with IRS cut. Liberal media warns against Speaker Johnson for being a Christian. Behind Tucker Carlson's ugly exit from Fox News. November 5, 2023. Warplanes strike Gaza refugee camp as Israel rejects U.S. push for a pause in fighting. If Trump wins, more voters foresee better finances and staying out of war. Enemy at the gates. Pro-Palestinian protesters swarm outside White House chanting Allahu Akbar. Illegal occupation. Radical Dem in hot seat after using a phrase calling eradication of the Israeli state as we know it. Game over. U.S. and European officials quietly nudge Ukraine to seek peace. Inside the Biden White House, doubts about Gaza war are beginning to creep in. Republicans are testing an insidious new ballot tactic on Election Day. Blinken makes surprise visit to occupied West Bank. DoorDash now warns that not tipping before your food arrives might mean drivers will deliver your food cold. Taylor Swift has night out with Selena Gomez, Sophie Turner, Brittany Mahomes, and more in NYC. Fresh revelations contradict Joe Biden's sweeping denials on Hunter. Protesters assault U.S. airbase in Turkey. Fast food isn't cheap anymore. Bernie Sanders doesn't back permanent ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. November 6, 2023. Trump in kangaroo court. Takes witness stand in New York civil trial. Ivanka is not going to save Trump in New York fraud trial. Sweeping under the rug. Blue City rushes to clear homeless camps ahead of large international summit. Judge warns Trump's lawyers to control him in wild start to his New York testimony. Sparks fly as ex-president accuses nasty justice of always ruling against him, tears into crazy trial and the hater Democrats and prosecutors. World's first AI human-like robot CEO unveiled. Droves of Californians are moving to Texas. Here's the life they are finding. The Trump family's perpetual blame game is running out of players. Steven Crowder just released what he says is the Nashville shooters manifesto. If true, it's even worse than I imagined. U.S. military members' data is easy to purchase online, study finds. Use smaller bombs to spare Gaza civilians, U.S. tells Israel. How did hunger become a partisan issue? No one will be safe from Trump's retribution tour. Shaky Israel resorts to nuke threats. Donald Trump's gift to Adam Schiff. Anti-oil protests artsy-fartsy smash and glass. Velasquez painting ruined. Inside James Comey's bizarre gig as an in-house inquisitor. November 7, 2023. Trump's day in court was a rude awakening. Marjorie Taylor Greene shows Congress how to lose friends. Diaper times. One buried stat in the new Biden poll will have Dems wetting the bed. City of Nashville confirms transgender school shooter manifesto is real. Palestinians in Europe fear for safety as crackdown on speech fosters hate. Jewish man in California dies after being hit in the head during dueling Israel-Hamas war protests. The best-case scenario for Trump's revenge plans is still very bad. Israel may oversee Gaza for indefinite period after war, Netanyahu says. Reinventing the dinosaur. Rep. Jim Jordan just released a damning report on censorship before the 2020 election. Here were all the people targeted by our government and their friends in academia and big tech. Ted Cruz. Democrats could be lining up Michelle Obama to replace Biden as president. U.S. nuclear submarine sent to confront Iran. Bloomberg. U.S. war machine fuels Israel's military. What's going wrong for Joe Biden? I found out in the saddest way possible. Shandong carrier strike group head to South China Sea after drills near Japan. Trump is playing a losing hand in every case against him. Squad. It's super dangerous to criticize us, you guys. A prehistoric pyramid may have just rewritten human history, scientists claim. Biden's blacklist. 5 things that could vanish in the name of going green. Saudi spending spree. Influx of Middle Eastern money is reshaping global sports. November 8, 2023. Abortions rights wins big in 2023 off-year elections. Ivanka Trump called to stand to testify today in New York fraud trial. The race to replace Mitch McConnell is already on. University president statement opposing anti-Semitism draws wave of anti-Israel attacks. Italy becomes first nation to ban Bill Gates' fake meat due to serious health concerns. Netanyahu's savage game. Mass killing Palestinians and exploiting Israeli grief. It's kind of amazing how spectacularly the GOP whiffed the Ohio abortion vote. Predators plot. Pro-Palestinian protesters stalk Jewish victim before alleged fatal punch. Witness. Pizza Hut is now selling snake pizza in Hong Kong, and I might have to book a flight real quick because that actually sounds delicious. House votes to censure Rep. Rashida Tlaib for Israel-Hamas war comments. Sexiest man alive Patrick Dempsey teases he has been in an awkward phase pretty much my entire life. We live in a land of idiots. India directs social media companies to act against deepfakes. Former senior Chinese official urges return of foreign investors. Please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Republicans can't figure it out. Kim Kardashian shines bright in crystals. Celebs show for Skeen's ex-Swarovski collab. Climate change is threatening Fire Island's beaches and its queer history. How Republicans' Achilles heel cost them big again last night. November 9, 2023. Another chance to critique Trump gets lost in side fights at third GOP debate. Republican Party checks into rehab for addiction to losing. Shock report. CNN, NYT, AP, and Reuters had photographers embedded with Hamas during terror attack. Netanyahu demands answers. James Comer, like Joe Biden, also paid his brother $200,000. Retired U.S. lawyer, 88, casually shoots dead 2 eco-warriors blocking a road in Panama after telling them this ends here. House Oversight Committee issues subpoena for Hunter and James Biden. The Hollywood strikes are finally over, but we won't repair the damage anytime soon. Blunder Woman. Gal Gadot's screening of Hamas terror attack film ends in brawls between pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian protesters. Ivanka Trump's emails reveal fatal error she made. Go woke. The Marvels is shaping up to have nearly the worst box office debut imaginable. Cleared in teenage fatal shooting, Portland man kills again in traffic crash, shoots bystander. Sentenced to 15 years. Aaron James lost half his face from electrocution. He just received the first ever eye and face transplant. It's time to cancel Trump's reality show. The GOP candidates debating just made the case for Trump. She would find a receptive Biden if he agrees to reset ties, says Hillary Clinton. Jack Smith is poised to hang the Capitol attack on Donald Trump. Nothing is going to stop Donald Trump. Trump and Bankman Fried. Two sides of the same coin. November 10, 2023. As Israeli tanks surround hospitals, UN calls northern Gaza hell on earth. World's biggest bank has to trade via USB stick after hack. Blinken says more need to be done to protect Palestinians. It wasn't granted. DOJ declined top Hunter Biden prosecutor's request for additional authority, testimony confirms. Judge and fury. Top House Republican files ethics complaint against judge in Trump trial over bizarre behavior. Trampoline owner jailed after girl, 3, was thrown 40 feet and died when it exploded. Young progressives are disgusted with Biden over Israel. The math and magic of necktie knots. Americans don't want to fight for their country anymore. No one is buying U.S. debt anymore, but the federal government keeps on spending. This does not bode well. At SpaceX, worker injuries soar and Elon Musk's rush to Mars. Pentagon has only $1 billion left for Ukraine. Iran wants IAEA to notify UN Security Council on Israeli threat to nuke Gaza. A new COVID variant, HV.1, is becoming dominant in parts of Canada. Here's what you need to know. Biden and Xi Jinping to meet next week in San Francisco area. Relative of Israeli hostage criticizes Obama's "nobody's hands are clean" comment. November 11, 2023. Gaza's main hospital goes dark in intense fighting as Israel's attacks put it at odds with allies. Trump swing state lead expected to hold until 3 a.m. on election night. Beavis and Butthead get radicalized by InfoWars. The crackdown on pro-Palestinian students is a disaster for free speech. Piece of shit. Former Trump fixer Michael Cohen confronts woman ripping down signs of Israeli hostages. Disney produces a lot of movies that are woke garbage. The Marvels is not one of them. Former Spanish politician shot in the face in Madrid. Travis Kelce was beaming at dinner with Taylor Swift in Argentina, says source. U.S. credit rating downgraded to negative. Poor sleep is a public health disaster. 60 years after Mao, what Xi's focus on Fengqiao model says about New China. A hardcore MAGA airman who believed Mike Lindell would restore Trump to power is in the cockpit of Trump Force 2. Gaza versus Ukraine. The ugly face of Israel and West. Samuel Haskell Jr. Video of workers lifting bags allegedly filled with body parts, one day before remains found in dumpster. Suddenly Toronto homes aren't selling, even desirable ones. Here's why realtors say owners are to blame. Why a small Michigan town ousted its entire government. What Elon Musk's age of abundance means for future of capitalism. November 12, 2023. Donald Trump, Don Jr., Tucker Carlson, Kid Rock, Dana White get heroes welcome at Madison Square Garden for UFC fight. Ruined fans point finger at DJ Envy in house flipping fraud. Straightening out. Gen Z's support for gay marriage has dropped dramatically. Poll. Chicago is so unpleasant migrants are fleeing back to Venezuela after being dumped in shelters and refused jobs, with 20,700 border crossers so far bust to dim-run sanctuary city. Exiled by hate. Trans kids flee U.S. for their safety. Middle East leaders slam Israel at Saudi-hosted summit on Gaza. RNC Chair Ronna McDaniel struggles to defend record after VA losses. Ramaswamy mocks interview as self-immolating. Secret Pentagon investigation found no one at fault in drone strike that killed woman and 4-year-old. 10 freeway in downtown LA shut down after fire. Newsom declares state of emergency. Republicans are linking aid for Ukraine and Israel to tough immigration policies. Army ammunition plant is tied to mass shootings across the U.S. People want trans actors to play Princess Zelda in a live-action movie because it's 2023 and we can't have nice things. Horsemen of the economic apocalypse. Friday's U.S. debt forecast has shocked traders and bankers. Stocks are suddenly up, and FOMO is back. November 13, 2023. Internal State Department memo blasts Biden and United States policy on Israel-Hamas war. Cali crumbling. Massive fire at site of homeless encampment shuts down LA freeway indefinitely. Bully pulpit. Angry Biden resorts to name-calling after Dem stalwart publicly rebukes him. Raids, detention camps and mass deportations. Trump's immigration plan for second term. How Gilded Age lawmakers saved America from plutocracy. Shots fired. Secret Service agents protecting Biden's granddaughter opened fire after 3 people tried to break into SUV. Behind public assurances, Xi Jinping has spread grim views on U.S. The godfather of AI fears what he's built. Megan Rapinoe says going out with no contact injury in her final soccer game is proof that there isn't a god. Europe's biggest volcano erupts. Trump's vermin threat is Hitler talk. Hong Kong is like Disneyland for bedbugs. Infestation fears spark panic buying. Trump gets called out for pretrial trickery yet again. Why is America afraid of Black history? Thanksgiving shutdown sets up nightmare scenario for travels. Democrats in disarray over new FBI headquarters. Strip clubs and lewd photos. The toxic atmosphere at bank regulator FDIC. November 14, 2023. Tens of thousands expected in D.C. for Israel rally. Gaza's embattled main hospital buries patients in mass grave. Zuckerberg's $36 billion plan for metaverse mind control. Bionic eyeballs, synthetic skin, chemical mist to replace reality. Google pays Apple a staggering 36% cut of revenue from searches on Safari in exchange for default status. Witness accidentally blurts out at antitrust trial. Czech news crew covering APEC in San Francisco robbed, reports say. As U.S. credit downgraded to negative, New World Order border collapse plan floods the First World with the Third World. Palestinians sue Biden for failing to prevent genocide in Gaza. LA facing more traffic gridlock amid signs of hope over 10 freeway closure. Lauren Sanchez makes Jeff Bezos look absolutely ridiculous in Vogue spread. And 100 times more interesting. Watch the New York governor explain her new surveillance efforts to counter speech her government doesn't like. Inflation fell to 3.2% in October. Dems prepare to save another GOP speaker from a shutdown. Ukraine arrests Zelensky critic for treason. Peking Americans concerned China's rise is threat to U.S. national interest. Damning new evidence that Trump planned not to leave the White House. American youth break free from Zionist yokes. Are we alone? Tracing the long hunt for alien life. The death of drinking on dates. It's time to break up with fast fashion. Cooling inflation likely ends Fed interest rate hikes. November 15, 2023. Trump fraud trial live updates. Trump, claiming bias, moves for mistrial. Colombia begins sterilization of hippos descended from pets of drug kingpin Pablo Escobar. Controligarchs exposed. Soros, Buffett, and more behind secret shell company profiting from controversial abortion pill. Shadowy deal with Clinton FDA to get approval. Bats hit crazy. Scientists tied to Wuhan lab now using taxpayer cash to do bad Ebola experiments in America, watchdog finds. Erdogan labels Israel as terrorist state. Nikki Haley calls anonymous social media posts national security threat. Will force every person to be verified by their name. Edinburgh Castle on lockdown after glass containing Stone of Destiny is smashed. Trump allies have hatched a plan to build a loyalist army to take over the government. What the doomsayers get wrong about deepfakes. Ladies, find yourself a man who looks at you like Xi Jinping's briefcase guy looks at Janet Yellen. We've got the details on Xi's arrival and this new romance. Prosecutors grapple with alternate reality defense in Paul Pelosi trial. EU nations not happy about paying for Ukraine. Ex-Latvian PM. U.S.-China joint climate action back on track, hours ahead of Xi-Biden meeting. The long national nightmare inflicted by the House GOP isn't nearly over yet. Why activism leads to so much bad writing. The Biden administration just cleared more money for Iran. Israel finds concrete evidence Gaza hospital was Hamas fortress. The Taliban is rollerblading while armed in viral footage. What the fuck is going on? November 16, 2023. U.S. continuing jobless claims rise to highest in almost 2 years. Pro-Palestinian protesters try to storm DNC. Violent clashes with cops. House Democrats evaluated. Journos, echoes of January 6th riot. Substantial evidence Santos used campaign funds for personal use. Blink and you'll miss it. Watch Antony Blinken get visibly rattled when Biden calls Xi a dictator. Pandas, fentanyl, Taiwan. The Xi-Biden meeting. Fitton urges West not to be party to crimes against humanity. Directed energy weapons capable of causing earthquakes hidden in Antarctica, claims Raytheon whistleblower. Pentagon won't say where it's sending U.S. troops to avoid embarrassing host nations. In talks with Biden, and she seeks to assure and assert at the same time. The Sphere and our immersion complex. After comic book readers rejected by Superman, DC tried again with a gay Green Lantern. The results were the same. US-based NGO confirms running Russian opposition troll farm. Can Biden give us hope in dark times? Suppose they threw a cage match between fascism and democracy and nobody cared. Alec Baldwin. New Rust outtakes show actor warning Helena Hutchins. "I don't want to shoot toward you." Liberals on TikTok are gushing over Osama bin Laden's letter to America. China will crack down on fentanyl sent to the U.S. Worse drugs could fill the vacuum. Ketanji Brown Jackson's husband's major nomination has ethics watchdog spooked. November 17, 2023. I'm afraid. War stories from children caught in the middle of the Israel-Hamas war. He was told his 9-year-old daughter was dead. Now she's believed to be alive and a hostage in Gaza. Controligarchs. The plan to herd the masses with AI. Even what you're eating, what you're seeing. Zombie movie. Failed dead panel back from the dead. Target selling transgender nutcracker and black paraplegic Santa Claus Christmas decorations. Joe Biden may have crossed fatal red line. Arizona pastor in critical condition after he was shot in the head while street preaching in Glendale. Which presidents have seen UFOs? Yep, it's more than one. Russian tycoon questions U.S. ability to pay debt. White House blasts Elon Musk's unacceptable anti-Semitic tweet. Kanye West references sex with Jewish bitch in new Saudi song snippet. Watch Secretary Blinken die inside as he watches Biden take reporters' questions. Give me the fucking tape. When Trump dumped DeSantis. Why are so few people getting the latest COVID-19 vaccine? Liberal group appeals to Supreme Court to keep Trump off 2024 ballot. November 18, 2023. Fentanyl-laced letters are being sent to election office, so officials are stocking up on naloxone. Bipartisan report details Biden admin failings on illegal Chinese biolab in California. CDC ignored reports from local officials. No one knows if other labs out there. Elon Musk's SpaceX rocket blows up again. Starship reaches space, then loses contact with ground control moments after launch as tycoons send congratulations to his team. Turkey Day dinner, brought to you by America's biggest privately held company. Despicable. Right-wing megaphone for anti-Semitism. Anti-Defamation League head now claims he is against war on whites that he started. Biden tells two different stories about the Israel-Hamas war in letters to Americans. Mob influence. Here's what the modern-day mafia looks, inside and out, of New York's 5 families after latest Gambino arrests. BLM activist John Sullivan, who encouraged the Capitol riot and sold film to the media, found guilty on all counts for his role in J6. Donald Trump attends funeral of his sister, Marianne Trump Berry. Foreign mercenaries in Ukraine engage in bloody scuffle. Media. It was physical altercation week in Congress. Trump keeps beating insurrection claims. Experts say the fight is far from over. Who really killed JFK? Alec Baldwin and Rob Reiner have theories. Most of Israel's weapons imports come from the United States. Now Biden is rushing even more arms. Sam Altman is out at OpenAI after board skirmish. November 19, 2023. 31 premature babies evacuated from Al-Shifa as Israel seizes hospital. 261 Georgia congregations leave the United Methodist Church. Donald Trump's new campaign talking point: Save the donuts. Standing by her man, mother of Hunter Biden's love child, tells all after bitter child support dispute. OpenAI investors plot last-minute push with Microsoft to reinstate Sam Altman as CEO. Stacey Abrams' brother-in-law arrested, accused of human trafficking, choking underage girl. For climate, protecting forests is way better than planting trees. Trump's New York legal tactics echo the Chicago 7. That should worry his judge. The Census Bureau says that unless we maintain high levels of immigration, we're going to have a major population bust by the end of the century. Patrick Mahomes says Travis Kelce's romance with Taylor Swift has not become a distraction. Biden campaign facing heat over plans to deal with his age. Blood and money. Medvedev names essence of U.S. security doctrine. Friends increase risk of smoking. U.S. looms large as Russia's Putin talks up historic China ties. Ron DeSantis defends Elon Musk amid backlash to anti-Semitic post. November 20th, 2023. Babies from Gaza make it to Egypt as second hospital reportedly encircled. Slow-moving train wreck. There's a powder keg inside the American economy, and it might blow up. Meet the Iranian-born billionaire helping NASA get back to the moon. Bob Iger was brought back to fix Disney. No one said it would be easy. Who owns Ron DeSantis? Tech exodus. Over 500 of 700 OpenAI staffers threatened to quit in mass revolt after CEO's shocking exit. Joe Biden's unhappy birthday. Florida man arrested for pooping on dead possum. Yes, you read that right, while rush hour traffic whizzed by. Ousted OpenAI leader Sam Altman joins Microsoft. Shakira chooses to not risk prison term. Trump's Holy Crusade storms Iowa. At Jezebel, we snitched on everyone. Then the snitching got out of hand. Fifth Force. Is China adding hypersonic near-space command to its military for precise and merciless attacks? The gathering storm of Trump 2.0 is upon us. World facing hellish 3 degrees Celsius of climate heating, UN warns before COP28. Senate Democrats warn Manchin that running for president would risk disaster. Snoop Dogg. Gotcha, I quit smoke. To sell smokeless fire pits. Argentina's new president is Trump on steroids. Money, murder, fur. Inside the Frenchy Revolution. Commercial flights are experiencing unthinkable GPS attacks and nobody knows what to do. November 21st, 2023. Hamas says Gaza truce deal close, raising hopes for hostages. Go completely silent. Hunter Biden lashed out at Mexican business magnate for ignoring him, emails show. Deadly strike. U.S. operation leaves several militants dead in response to attack on Iraqi airbase. Underpass lot below 10 freeway failed inspection months before fire. U.S. arms makers dominate top expo as Russia fails to sell. Army sends letter to troops who were discharged for refusing the vax, says they can correct the discharge and come back to the military. Transgender footballer mulls lawsuits over opponent's boycott. 10 million Iranians express readiness to face off Israel. The jet set. 200 celebrities' aircraft have flown for combined total of 11 years since 2022. The government burned through $7.5 trillion post-COVID and all it got was historic inflation. They fell off the unclimbable border wall. Now they fill hospitals. The secret warnings that predated the pandemic. A Supreme Court case about stocks could help make Trump's authoritarian dreams reality. Binance founder agrees to step down and plead guilty. November 22, 2023. Israel and Hamas agree on truce to free hostages and swap, raising hopes of halting war in Gaza. A population of hard-to-eradicate super pigs in Canada is threatening to invade the U.S. How the American controligarchs copy-paste from the CCP's playbook to implement freedom-crushing policies. Conservative group accidentally reveals its secret donors. North Korea says spy satellite launched successful. Freemasons triggered after independent journalist infiltrates lodge and exposes bizarre rituals. Secret intelligence documents show global reach of India's death squads. As Disneyland reels from its third death in a year, what can be done to prevent suicides? Colorado brief shows why Trump should be off the ballot in 2024. Meet the group of 44 trans women that were invited to a big luncheon with Pope Francis at the Vatican. Broadcom acquires VMware in $69 billion deal after China approval. Travis Kelce shares he'll be on his own for Thanksgiving and will be feasting on KFC. Western policies putting global economy under colossal stress, says Putin. U.S. team says Chinese rocket booster hit the moon with secret payload. The election is rigged all right. For Trump. The money always wins. Israel says fighting pause will extend a day for every 10 more hostages released. November 23, 2023. Gaza ceasefire and hostage release to start Friday. Gaza has become a moonscape in war. When the battles stop, many fear it will remain uninhabitable. New York City Mayor Eric Adams accused of sexual assault. Rich Bentley driver caused Niagara Falls checkpoint explosion after canceled Kiss concert. 10 more things to be grateful for this Thanksgiving. Children, aged 6, rushed to hospital after knife attack outside Dublin school. Why the seemingly lighthearted turkey pardon ritual should end. Thanksgiving. Pro-Palestinian protesters glue hand to 6th Avenue, disrupting Thanksgiving Day parade. Memories of Thanksgivings abroad and in between. The Supreme Court could upend future elections. Air Force Base purportedly tells members to steer clear of conservative event, warns participating in such groups could jeopardize their continued service in the U.S. military. Germany running out of money for Ukraine aid. World Health Organization asks China for details on surge in undiagnosed pneumonia cases. Hall and Oates. Restraining order muzzles Oates. Hall says keep my songs out of your mouth. No business as usual. Pro-Hamas goons threaten to disrupt Black Friday. The best Thanksgiving movies to stream right now. The right wing ran absolutely wild on the US-Canada border car crash. November 24, 2023. There's a secret megadonor behind the MAGA Nerve Center. The feds radicalized the holidays. Eric Adams was very vocal about the border crisis. Now he's been slapped with a campaign finance investigation and rape allegation within a matter of weeks. Oscar Pistorius set to be released from prison in January, nearly 11 years after his murder conviction. U.S. and Germany hoping to force Zelensky to peace. America exported its worst made-up holiday. The rest of the world wasn't prepared. Tiffany Haddish arrested for DUI. Kamala Harris should have checked the background of her Thanksgiving photo. Star Wars undertakes universe-shaking changes. Anti-migrant rioters rampage through Dublin after knife attack on children. Dolly Parton dresses up as Dallas Cowboys cheerleader for Thanksgiving performance. Hamas releases 13 Israeli and 12 Thai hostages, the first freed during pause. November 25, 2023. Controligarchs exposed. Bill Gates' relationship with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein revolved around a global health investment fund. Ukrainians invent homemade war machine to gun down Russians. MSM labels protesters who don't want 5-year-olds stabbed by migrants far right. Missiles and drones among weapons stolen from U.S. in Iraq and Syria. El Mago, drug trafficker linked to son of Sinaloa cartel kingpin, gunned down in L.A. Why Trump's cast-out post on Truth Social is so specifically terrifying. The Pentagon has failed its 6th audit in a row. Half of DoD's assets can't be accounted for. Jada Pinkett Smith celebrates perfect Thanksgiving with husband Will Smith and their 3 kids. The Green Scam. How electric vehicles harm the environment that they're supposed to save. The MCU risk of putting women in battle. China-Russia cooperation in the Arctic a double-edged sword for Beijing? Biden's DHS forces border agents to use preferred pronouns for illegal aliens. Joe Biden's campaign takes aim at the media. Radicalized students storm pro-Israel teacher's classroom in New York. November 26, 2023. Hamas could release American hostage today, Jake Sullivan says. He was it for me. I only wanted one baby. And now he's gone. TikTok star shares agony after son, too, died of cardiac arrest while being rushed to hospital after falling ill. Who recommends China bring back masks, social distancing, and lockdowns due to mystery outbreak? George Santos, calling himself Mary Magdalene of Congress, knows he's done. U.S. troops still train on weapons with known risk of brain injury. Mitt Romney says he'd vote for any Republican except Trump and Vivek. Trudeau blames MAGA influence for vote against Ukraine bill. EU nation resumes purchases of Russian gas. Why a hot idea for making football safer is such a hard sell for the NFL. Respiratory disease surge driven by range of pathogens, China says. It will never be a good time to buy a house. Inside the hash house of Harvard's elite. November 27, 2023. Arab states and EU agree on need for two-state solution to Gaza crisis. DEI backlash hits corporate America. Police state USA. White House surveillance program lets law enforcement snoop on trillions of Americans' phone records. Matt Gaetz is miraculously more hated than ever in Congress. Emergency response. Border Patrol calls in reinforcements to help area overwhelmed by migrants. Trump eyes military power grab. This law could help him. The fall of Minneapolis. George Floyd color revolution exposed. 3 students of Palestinian descent shot in Burlington, Vermont. Red wedding. Drunk Paralympian groom kills bride and 3 guests before turning gun on himself just moments after saying "I do." Joe Biden's radical plan to fix U.S. economy. Disney made Microsoft change their AI image generator because people were making too many savage fake Disney Pixar movie posters. Civilian deaths are being dismissed as crisis actors in Gaza and Israel. U.S. and other countries develop new global guidelines for AI security. Kim Kardashian on trying to teach tough critic North to be honest and not annihilate people for no reason. Millions of dogs could flood Seoul streets. Violent rhetoric is a road to civil war. China's Fujian aircraft carrier spotted in new position, bringing it a step closer to sea trial, analysts say. Shakira pays an extra $7 million in new tax probe, alleged 2018 fraud. Report. Disney admits woke ESG adversely impacted revenue and profit. Monica Lewinsky. We the people demand more amendments. Everything we know about the man accused of shooting 3 Palestinian students in Vermont. November 28, 2023. Musk's Cybertruck is already a production nightmare for Tesla. Pool athlete Lynn Pinches gets award after refusing championship match against trans player. Titles and money mean nothing without fairness. He blew it. Jewish groups hammer Biden while White House pushes Islamophobia scare after Hamas attack. From cover shots to tequila shots. How supermodel Kendall Jenner plans to build a spirits empire. Trust your gut. Tucker Carlson warns of chaos and ignoring your instincts during history-changing events. Ron Jeremy's alleged victims share fury and acceptance after latest twist in court case. Team Trump would burn the planet to own the libs. Christmas jeer. Skinny Santa, tiny ice rink and watered-down hot cocoa. Parents go scorched earth on Disney's NYC Christmas Village. Gold bars and Tokyo apartments. How money is flowing out of China. CDC speaks out over China's pneumonia outbreak as concerns grow. This sports writer is trying to crucify a kid for wearing blackface to a Chiefs game. He even doubled down when he got torched for his take. White House officials say they don't regret Iran swap amid increased attacks by Iranian proxies. African nation turns to China after West halts funding over anti-gay law. Space agency official praises aerospace efforts as astronauts land in Hong Kong. Mike Pence tells Jack Smith all about Donald Trump and January 6th. Family of the first American released by Hamas bought Hunter Biden's art. U.S. soldiers are exposing barracks full of mold, bed bugs, and unsafe food with a new app. November 29, 2023. UN calls for irreversible move toward two-state solution to Israel crisis. Still running hot. U.S. economy grew a blistering 5.2% in third quarter. Government spending spree, household spending lower than projected. Anderson Cooper is learning to grieve. Ron DeSantis never caught fire. Now it's catching up to him. Report. Climate Summit prays secretly schemed fossil fuel deals. Report. CIA routinely obtains UFO wreckage and intact vehicles and transfers ownership to private parties. Prisoners, propaganda, and the battle over the Gaza war narrative. What day laborers are hired to do. The dangerous, the gross, the sometimes illegal. 3-year cruise people sold homes to go on is canceled weeks before departure. Mike Johnson's Social Security death panel raises fears over benefits. National Christmas tree does best Biden impression by falling over ahead of president's lighting ceremony and may not be salvageable. 3 climate impacts the U.S. will see if warming goes beyond 1.5 degrees. Girl rescued from Hamas emerges from captivity with her dog. Shannon Doherty wants to embrace life as cancer has spread to her bones. My greatest moment is yet to come. Goliath falls. Sudden bankruptcy of financial empire exposes Europe's real estate bubble. Fascist money gets off the GOP sidelines. Trump will always keep talking. The problem is who is still listening. $280 in China, but $8,892 in the United States. New Chinese cancer drug gets FDA approval. Ex-DC chief judge warns of creeping authoritarianism in U.S. Ontario's plan to build new gas plants just got more complicated. White House in disarray as TikTok turns against Biden. Somali pirates tried to hijack an Israeli-owned ship. Security officials are perplexed. GM directs billions to investors as EV push disappoints. Dem nightmare. How Manchin and Menendez embarrassed their party. New CDC life expectancy data shows painfully slow rebound from COVID. November 30th, 2023. Blinken wants Gazan safety assured before Israel resumes attacks. Kissinger dead at 100. Figurehead of globalism's rise. Mentor to World Economic Forum's Klaus Schwab. Outrage as Rolling Stone celebrates death of Henry Kissinger with good riddance. HuffPo calls him America's most notorious war criminal. New York Times refers to the Holocaust-fleeing Nobel Peace Prize winner as hypocrite. The Beltway Butcher. War criminal Kissinger dead at 100. Federal whistleblowers confirm Obama established illegal shadow government after Trump election. Henry Kissinger, top U.S. diplomat responsible for millions of deaths, dies at 100. Dead at 100, Henry Kissinger leaves behind a bloody legacy. Donald Trump's gag order reinstated in New York fraud case. Michael Shellenberger testifies Homeland Security violated the First Amendment and interfered in the election, outlines plan of sophisticated psychological operations against Americans. Report. Google to pay $100 million a year to Canadian news outlets. Trading in death responsibly. Woke funds funnel $5 trillion into arms industry. European Union set to ask Xi to stop Chinese firms getting around sanctions on Russia. Ammon Bundy has disappeared. NFL star Von Miller arrest warrant issued for assaulting pregnant woman. John Wayne Saloon. How day drinking went undetected at a top U.S. military base. Pizzagate rears its head again, and not just because of Elon Musk. No more dry burgers. McDonald's overhauls its biggest item.